What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Lock and Cash podcast. We are back in the studio, all back in person. Nobody's sick. I was sick last week. You were out the week before. Now we're all back and we're good.
You know, next week I'm going to be out, right?
Are you? You're going away?
We're going to do remote again.
Oh, come on. That's
you know what I'm saying? We got to do
business
out here.
Business has to be taken care of, exactly. But crazy week, dude. Right now, the conference tournaments are going on in college hoops.
Yep.
We have the NBA approaching the end of the season, getting really interesting there. We got another UFC card this weekend. But this week was kind of dominated in the news by the NFL free agency stuff, which was just crazy. And I don't know. Like, I was trying to think back earlier this week to last year, but I don't really remember it being this wild, like this many big names moving around.
Well, I really think, I think the headlines were dominated by Aaron Rodgers last year.
Yeah.
He was essentially...
Well, I was laughing because also kind of this year with he's going to run for vice president or whatever. I'm like, what the hell?
So he knows how to dominate the headlines. He basically had the Packers just on the hook for essentially months around, trade value. He wants to go to the Jets. So I think a lot of the moves got swept under the rug because everybody was on Aaron Rodgers' watch.
That's a good point.
Now we're on Kirk Cousins' watch.
Yeah, Kirko. Now, a lot of big. I mean, just at quarterback, Kirk Cousins, Baker Mayfield, Russell Wilson moving around. Even like Minshew going to the Raiders is kind of low key a decent move too.
My man Minshew.
Minshew with that defensive line that they have.
Honestly,
that's a tough D line.
Minshew in some jorts with the Raiders uniform. It's kind of a vibe.
It's kind of a vibe, yeah. And then, of course, the biggest move that our Jets get Tyrod Taylor. And our
future starting quarterback.
And our boy
Jets.
Darnold goes to, where'd he go? Minnesota. He went to Minnesota for a year. So, but, I mean, what's your just gut reaction on all these moves? Like another one, Barkley to the Eagles. Derrick Henry to the Ravens is kind of he's not the same that it was what he used to be, but kind of a low-key one. But
should have went to the Ravens last year at the trade deadline.
There you go.
So Tajay Spears could have got me into my fantasy.
It always goes back to fantasy.
And it will go back to fantasy. We're going to be doing a lot more fantasy in the coming months. But Kirk Cousins, perennial bag getter. One of, he's the guy at your job where you're like, how does this guy keep getting promotions?
True. Yeah. He's that guy.
He leaves early on Fridays.
Yeah.
And
then before you know it, he's got like the corner office, and you're like, what the hell?
What happened? How is he doing this?
Mm-hmm. But like, what did I miss?
I think a lot of these moves really improved. I think a lot of teams improved through this.
Yeah, for sure.
A couple of teams got just way worse that were already bad. But I think what we should do is do the way too early divisional futures.
Let's do it
for the NFL.
All
right. Where we can look through these divisional futures on DraftKings.com or wherever you do your futures and see, based on free agency, who do we like? Who do we not like? What do we think is an undervalued, overvalued, way too early divisional future bet?
Cool.
And we talk about some of the moves inside of that made that happen. So let me tee up the first one for you.
Cool.
We're talking about Kirk Cousins. He signs with the Atlanta Falcons 4 years, $180 million. I'm pretty sure $200 million is guaranteed in that contract. The Atlanta Falcons right now are sitting at minus 125 for the NFC South division.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? How do you think that this move plus a new coaching staff impacts this divisional future? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Where would you go in this division?
Listen, I think they're clearly the best team now in the division. I don't think you can really argue against that too strongly. I like Morris as a coach. I like their defense already from last year. They have a good offensive line, good running game. I mean, they were one of those teams where you looked at them last year and they're like, man, if they just had a quarterback, right? And now they got the quarterback. So,
they just ran the ball. Yeah. They just gave it to Bijan Robinson.
Exactly. So I think they're positioned nicely to win the division. But I don't know. The minus sign always gets me a little... I
think there's an overreaction.
It could be
on the line. Do you know what it was before?
Well, before the Kirk Cousins, it was no. I think Tampa was the favorite, and I think Atlanta was a little bit lower.
Okay,
they were like plus 1 something or whatever. Now Tampa jumped to plus 300.
Yep.
Atlanta's minus 120. It was actually minus 110, and it got up a little bit. But I think, if you want to take a stab at some value, right? Like I don't think the Saints are positioned that well. The Bucks obviously kept the quarterback. They still have the good defense.
They actually got Mike Evans. They re-signed Mike Evans.
Exactly. Mike Evans is still there. Good defense, right? They've won. They just won it. They have experience there. They
Got
want
a
to
playoff win.
a playoff game, exactly. So that's plus 300. I wouldn't fight you against that. I think the other two teams are not really in it, so I think it's really a 2-team race. The only thing with the Buccaneers is like they really had one of those years last year where like everything had to go right for them. Like, they won a lot of close games.
Yeah.
I remember reading the other day. I forget where I saw it, somewhere on X, Twitter, that like I think it was like 80% of their wins came against non-playoff teams. They really couldn't beat any good teams, except for the Eagles. So
Who wasn't?
who was like decimated by the end of the year. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I can understand why maybe selling on Tampa a little bit and then jumping over to the Falcons bandwagon. I think they're the best. They're the best team in the division. I think they're the best choice. But if I'm betting that future, I got to go small on it with the minus.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That
What
makes
about
sense. I like the Buccaneers for the value.
300,
You
right?
know, you get plus 300 on a team that's already won that division.
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins, first year head coach. How much gelling needs to happen between now and the beginning of the season for them to go on a run?
Yeah.
You can lean on the run game with Bijan. You got some playmakers on the outside. You got some playmakers on defense. But overall, it's like, I don't know. How many playoff games has Kirk Cousins won? How many division titles has Kirk Cousins won
Right.
over his career?
Oh, I don't even know. Has he won any?
I don't know.
He was with the Vikings for like 5 or 6 years. I'm
Yeah.
not sure if he even won any.
So
Division was dominated by the Packers. So
when you look at this, it's like, yeah, Kirk Cousins is good, and he's going to give a lot to that team. But there's a lot that needs to go right for them to win that division.
Yeah.
With a first-year head coach, first-year QB installed, new young playmakers on both sides of the ball. Kirk doesn't have Justin Jefferson anymore, right? So I would go with the Bucs here. I think there's value on the plus 300 there.
Yeah, I can see that. No love for the Panthers at plus 1,500.
Yo.
Maybe bright. They improved the O-line. They still have a good defense, right? Give them that. New coach, new offensive coach, and new
Stop.
plus 1,500. I'm just saying.
Don't lead us down a path that we're all going to regret.
No, yeah, I agree with you. It's either Atlanta or Tampa in that division. So, why don't we jump to? Let's go AFC South. I think it's a little bit interesting there. I think the Texans right now are plus 150, the clear favorite, but the Jags plus 200, not too far behind, and then the Colts plus 275. So this division is a little bit different with the odds kind of implying that it's a 3-team race versus just two.
Look at the Tennessee Titans. They just spent a bunch of money on people that I don't understand,
Yeah.
but they have playmakers on the offensive side of the ball now.
I know. I mean, you don't think Rudolph to Ridley could be the new, Montana to Rice? Yeah, I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, okay, don't disrespect Will Levis, the biggest
True.
biggest biceps in the game at QB.
Well, Mason Rudolph was balling at the end of the year for the Steelers.
He was
like out of nowhere.
It's gonna be Will Levis.
Yeah,
they're gonna give him a shot.
probably right.
You got 3, like I would say B+ weapons on the outside.
Yeah,
Well, I would at least 2 B+ weapons on the outside.
Right.
You got a running back room that's pretty dynamic.
Spears and who else? Who else is on that team?
They signed Tony Pollard.
Oh yeah, that's right.
3
That's
years,
right.
$24 million.
Yeah, not bad. Not bad.
Tony Pollard did not look great last year, but Tajay Spears dynamic, Tony Pollard dynamic. You can sort of fit those guys into similar schemes where they're catching, running out of the backfield.
Exactly.
So I think their offense has gotten better.
Yeah.
But again, first year head coach, right?
True.
So I think that this division could be way up in the air. The Colts.
Yeah.
The Colts get my boy.
I like
Joe
the Colts.
Flacco.
I like the Colts. Yeah, but Anthony Richardson is going to be back healthy. Yeah, he said no.
Joe Flacco is going to be after Anthony Richardson runs for 47 yards and hurts himself again in the first quarter. We're gonna have a Joe Flacco season.
Yeah, so they kept Pittman, right?
Yeah.
Jonathan Taylor will be back. They lost Moss. That's not a huge loss. But yeah, I mean listen, I like Anthony Richardson. So
I do too.
if he could stay healthy,
Yes.
they'll be dangerous.
They'll be a dangerous team. Their defense obviously needs to improve a lot.
They give up a lot of points, but you know what? They're like a high variance defense. If you watched like last year, like they give up a lot of points, but they also grab a lot of turnovers, force a lot of fun. Like they're just like all over the place.
Yep.
But it leads to a lot of errors, kind of thing.
They're like
if they clean it up.
The Asante Samuel Sr.
If they clean it up, they could be much better on defense. But
anybody who gets that reference, you're old. I just want to let you know.
Old like us.
If you know that like Asante Samuel is either going to jump the slant and take it to the house or give up a touchdown
Or get burned, yeah.
you and us, there's not much time left.
We're friends.
There's not. We're on a short clock.
So is it Texans or you think plus 150? CJ Stroud continues to dominate, or I mean, there is such a thing as a sophomore slump. Maybe he takes a step back, but they made some good moves. I like what they've done.
Regression.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There could be.
I'm gonna go regression.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go. The Jaguars just spent stupid money
Yeah.
across the board on some what I would say questionable signings, but I do think if this is a year where Trevor Lawrence has to step up, this is the year that we're going to see it. It's unfortunate though that he loses a weapon. Did they sign?
Yeah.
Did they sign another receiver for
Not that
him?
I know of. Let me see.
That's unfortunate, man.
They got Devin Duvernay.
Oh, congrats!
They got Gabe Davis. That's not bad.
Come on,
They got Gabe Davis and Devin. I mean, it's not Ridley, but I'm just saying it's not.
Gabe Davis is
Gabe Davis
catching
is
two
solid,
touchdowns or untargeted.
But Gabe Davis could be. Yeah, he could also be a Josh Allen product. Yeah. So I see that.
Over under 6 touchdowns for Gabe Davis next year.
Oh no, I got to go under on that one.
You go under?
Yeah, I got to go under.
So he's not going to matter. He's not going to matter.
Yeah,
He's not a volume guy. So
Yeah.
Okay. So I would go with the Jaguars in the AFC
Jags.
South. Yeah.
No, I would still go Texans for me.
I think we're going to get regression.
I like their edge at quarterback. I don't know. I'm not a huge Lawrence guy. So
Neither am I, but I don't
even
think,
if Stroud goes through a little bit of regression, I think their defense is still better than the Jags too.
it's not so much Stroud's regression in his skills and abilities. I don't actually believe in the Texans' weapons
On offense. Yeah.
on offense on the outside.
Yeah.
I think that they overperformed unless we're talking about like two really breakout guys
Yep.
this year.
Yeah. Nico and
Like-
Tank Dell, right?
Is Nico Collins? Is he?
Yeah,
really,
we don't know. We have to see. He has to keep it up. He had to be consistent. Yeah.
Is Tank
But
Dell really that guy?
I also love their coach. I love D'Amico as a coach.
I do too.
So that kind of for me, I would go. For me, since I'm getting plus 150, I would go Texans.
Okay.
I could see that being closer to even for them as the season goes on.
You want to dunk bet that or no?
No,
Not enough
I
conviction.
thought
there?
we abandoned the dunk bet.
No, we didn't.
We did not
No,
abandon
we're
the
gonna
dunk
keep
bet.
dunk bet.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's move over. So we did NFC AFC South. Let's speed it up a little bit. Let's go NFC North. I'll let you go first, but I got one that I really like here.
NFC North. Let me look at the lines here.
Lions plus 160, Pack plus 185, Bears 320, Vikings 750.
Go with the Packers at plus
I
185.
love the Packers to win it. Love them. Yes. They made some great moves.
Yeah.
They got Josh Jacobs, who honestly pretty similar. Aaron Jones, Josh Jacobs might even be an improvement.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
think
love
between the tackles.
Yeah.
I think Josh Jacobs is a tougher runner.
And this is just a 2-team race, which is why I love it even more.
Yeah.
And the
You
Lions.
don't think the Chicago Bears are going to go for the division?
I
I don't even know where
yeah.
Justin Fields is going.
The Bears got DeAndre Swift.
Oh, sick.
That's not bad.
Another guy. He'll be on the sidelines
Yeah.
by week 5 if they give him 25 carries a game.
But last summer, if you remember, we gave out the Lions, so they squeezed it out for us this last season, right? Plus 150, I think we got it. They're now plus 160. It's very hard to replicate. Dan Campbell actually said it when they lost the playoff game. Do you remember?
Yeah.
He says like this might have been our only shot, and like I know he didn't actually mean it. I'm sure they're going to still be a good team.
Yeah.
But there's some truth to what he was saying in the moment. Like when you're emotional in the moment, some truth comes out. It's true that when the expectations are low, is like that's when you
Come
usually
out
hit the
fired.
hardest. Yeah. And they could take a step back this year. Jordan Love's going to be another year as a starter. He killed it last year, especially second half of the year once he got like his confidence and he like his rhythm. So if you see that Jordan Love for a whole season, they're winning this division.
I think so too. And if you look again, weapons on the outside, most of the Packers' weapons on the outside were injured for most. Like Christian Watson, that hamstring was nagging the entire year. They were down sometimes 2 starters on the outside.
Yeah.
When he was really trying to get up to speed. So I think that Josh Jacobs, you still have a really good defense there. Against at least in certain aspects.
No, they've got a good defense. And
I
Watson and Dobbs got to stay healthy.
Right.
And you still got time to make another move. If they could add another wide receiver, that'll be good. But I like how they're set up. I really like how they're set up. So for me, NFC North, I would go Packers plus 185. Yeah, I agree. And the Bears are sitting at 320 because, yes, they probably did improve. They're going to be better. But there's just a question of who's going to be the quarterback. Like, we got to see who's the quarterback first. That's the most important position. I can't bet on you if I don't know who your quarterback's going to be,
I think
Because I'm not going to bet on rookie Caleb Williams.
it's down to 2, and
win.
I don't think either of those guys
That's what I'm saying. I'm not going to, so, yeah.
Okay, let's go down the list. NFC East, we got the Dallas Cowboys at plus 130, Philadelphia Eagles at plus 130,
Yeah.
Washington Commanders plus
Yeah,
750, and the
know.
New York Football Giants at plus 1,000.
That's one of those where you can maybe take a unit on the Cowboys and a unit on the Eagles, and you're guaranteed to make a quarter of a unit because
Okay.
the other two teams have no shot to win it. And I'm actually surprised they're the same, 130, 130. I mean, they're really close, but I think by the time the season starts, the Eagles are going to be the favorite to win that division.
I agree.
So you maybe could snipe some value on Philly right now in a bounce back year, by the way, after everyone kind of how I feel about when teams get written off for dead. I like that.
Yeah.
So I like the way they ended last year because we got to take advantage of it and bet against them. But now I like them this year to bounce back a little bit. So, and they gotta definitely get more creative on offense. But I like some of the moves they made. So
I mean, getting somebody like Saquon Barkley
Yeah.
opens up
great.
your running back room tremendously.
Yeah.
He's a tough runner. He's huge. He's a fantastic receiver out of the back.
push.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, "Oh, Kelsey's gone. Tush is gonna be dead." I don't know. With
I don't know.
Saquon though,
Not when
Saquon and Hurts pushing on against you. That's tough.
yeah.
I like the Eagles there plus 130.
And they added more playmakers to the edge.
Yeah,
They have a huge boost, like Saquon Barkley versus Swift. You may say, like, oh, well, if we look at the numbers last year, how big of a difference really is there between them? But, like,
yeah,
come on. A couple years removed from that injury from Saquon.
yeah. No, he's better.
The running lanes, Saquon Barkley
Dude.
has never had
He's never had
an
that.
offensive line or just an offense like this before. You have
Yeah.
no idea
Yeah.
what he's going to do in an offense like this.
He was making something out of nothing constantly with the Giants. Like
He could be prolific
he had no lanes
on this
so-
offense.
for sure. Yeah.
So
I like the Eagles.
I'll go with the Eagles here. Sorry, Cowboys fans.
I like that.
Another L coming for you. All right, let's go through. We only have a couple more to go.
AFC West.
AFC West. We could talk about the AFC West.
Chiefs minus 200.
Good. Yeah, that's it.
Chargers plus 250 with Harbaugh as a new coach. Could be a little bit of value there. Herbert gets healthy.
I think they got a shot at the playoffs.
Yeah.
I don't think they win the division.
I don't think so either. I think it's Chiefs or nothing there, but I'm not laying that price.
Yep.
So that
Yeah.
one's kind of
minus 195 on a 17, 18 week future is
Yeah.
like
And the same with the NFC West with the Niners being the same price.
yeah,
Minus 195. Rams are plus 330 next up.
wouldn't touch.
Yeah, wouldn't touch that.
Wouldn't
either.
touch it.
I
Those are
agree.
gross divisions. AFC North
AFC North.
and AFC East are the last two. Let's
Yeah.
talk about the AFC East because the AFC North, I think you and I may be going head to head here.
Okay.
AFC East, I think we're both in agreement that it's the New York Jets all day, baby.
Jets,
all
baby.
day.
No, honestly, I do think there's some value.
No.
Every time I freaking do this, it ends in a disaster. But I do think there's a listen. If he plays you can't tell me that if Rodgers plays a full season, they don't have a shot at the division. You can't tell with the defense that they have.
As hardcore Jets fans,
Yeah,
this is unbiased.
this is not. This is just.
This is an unbiased take.
You're making
This is-
you're making me crack. But I'm just saying this is not like this is just objective though. If he stays healthy, he's a very good quarterback. They have a very good defense.
Also
I
true.
have some questions about the coach, but they should be able to compete for this division if he's healthy.
I agree.
Right?
If the Jets,
And Buffalo lost a lot.
they lost a lot of playmakers. The Patriots are plus 2,000 for a reason.
Yeah, forget it.
We're gonna get Jacoby Brissett.
And the Dolphins, we still don't know. Now they did improve on defense, but we still don't know if they can beat good team. They didn't beat anybody last year.
I know.
So
At plus 290, what you're betting on, if you're taking a Jets future, is that they improve the O line.
Yeah.
If they do not improve
Yeah.
the O line, Aaron Rodgers getting hurt, our run game,
Yeah.
their run game is going to be just as bad as it was last year. Which, like in spots against really bad run defenses,
yeah,
Brees can go nuts, but there's other times where you're watching and he's getting like minus a half yard before contact, and
Yeah,
you're like,
it's rough.
what is happening here? So Aaron Rodgers plus O-line improvement.
Yeah.
I think there's value on this bet.
Yeah. For me, it's Bills or Jets. I'm not convinced by the Dolphins, and I don't even think the Dolphins are convinced that Tua's actually the guy long term.
Yeah.
I think he's just good, but not great.
Yeah.
We already know that Allen's great, and we already know that Rodgers, when he's normal, is a great quarterback. So I think it's Buffalo and New York.
Yeah.
In that, so those are the two that I would consider, but I'm not convinced on sprinkling either one yet. But those are the two that I would look at.
Okay. Well, I just put my Jets bet in just now. So
That's for the entire account on it.
yeah, that's why I have the laptop open.
All right, AFC North.
AFC North.
So you
we have
think
the
we're going-
Baltimore Ravens plus 115, the Bengals plus 165, the
Yeah.
Cleveland Browns plus 550, the Pittsburgh Steelers plus 950.
Yeah.
Question to you, Jeff. Does Russell Wilson give them a shot at the division?
It's a tough question. I don't think he gives them a shot at the division, but I do think he improves them. But I don't think he gives them a shot at the division. Does that make sense? What I'm saying?
Not to me.
You
But
like
go
him.
ahead. But go ahead.
He had a good year last year, right? No doubt. But we have to see how he fits in with a different team, a new scheme, a different coach. I love Tomlin as a coach. I just don't know if I think he's a good fit there. I just don't know if it's like a great fit. They have a decent defense. But last year they were like, I think we talked about this on one of our other shows. They were like the beneficiaries of like a lot of positive luck, a lot of positive regression, a lot of turnovers, fumbles go their way. It's hard to replicate that again. But then again, he's also never had a losing season, Tomlin. So plus 950, I cannot sit here and say that that's not some value. I would bet if like we ran numbers or something that there's some value on that number. I'm just probably not going to take it.
I love it.
You love it. All right.
I love it.
I'll give you who I love. All right, go ahead. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
You go. Give me who you love. And then
I love in this division, a bounce back, comeback year for Joe Burrow and the Bengals to finally come back. But when Joe Burrow got hurt last season, they were making a run. And by the way, the game that he got hurt, why I remember it so vividly is because we bet the Bengals in the game. And not only were they a 3-point dog in Baltimore, they were beating the Ravens when he got hurt. So I think he comes back. They're refreshed. There's rumors about they might pick up a very high-profile wide receiver. We'll see what happens. But
if the Bengals in some crazy world get Justin Jefferson, we got, what's his name? T. Higgins asked for a trade.
Yeah.
He got franchised. He asked for a trade. If they trade T. Higgins and a package for Justin Jefferson, all of this is out the window.
So then you got Jefferson, Chase, Boyd. They signed Zach Moss to replace Mixon.
Yeah.
Right? He's like, whatever.
Yeah. Okay, man.
Who's the tight end they have that's good? I forget his name. They have a good tight end. I just can't remember his name. But anyway, they signed Gesicki. They signed Mike Gesicki.
Okay.
Good tight end. Good tight end.
Fine. Yeah, he's fine.
Good tight end. So they
was he any different than Irv Smith Jr. or whatever? Like,
he's good. He's good. Gesicki was good. But for me though, the big thing is Burrow's got to come back healthy, and I really like that team. I think they have good coaching, good defense. So I would look at the Bengals plus right now 165. That's what I'm thinking. I think the Ravens, by the way, killed everybody last year, all year long until the playoffs came around.
Yeah.
What are the chances they do that again? Like one of the things that I was speaking about throughout the year, I bet they're under on the win total, yes. But one of the reasons I said that was because it's very rare that you see a team just consistently pound on everybody like that. And they peaked way too soon. And that's what happens when you peak too soon. Like you could actually make an argument that you don't want that bye week in the playoffs.
Right.
So I think this year they might have a different outlook maybe on that. I don't see them going as hard, blowing teams out.
No.
I think the Bengals got a shot. I like the Bengals. And I think the price is telling you that, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, plus 165. Again, if they get Justin Jefferson,
Yeah.
good
Oh,
luck
yeah, different. Yeah,
figuring out that fantasy wide receiver room.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow, I've written off completely. I might have to go take a chance again. That everything's out the window there.
Yeah.
I love the Pittsburgh Steelers here.
Okay,
at plus
950. I can't say that's not value.
You can say whatever you want
Yeah.
about Russell Wilson, but Mike Tomlin
He's amazing.
he's been in the trenches the last couple of years on quarterbacks.
True.
Like, do you know
Scraping the bottom
if I
of the
was
barrel.
Mike Tomlin, my jaw muscles would be tremendous at this point because I would be just clenching my teeth on the sideline every single time I see a Mitch Trubisky or a Mason Rudolph
Trubisky.
throw the ball out of bounds.
You don't like Kenny Pickett?
Kenny Pickett. My jaw would just. I don't know if you can see. Just clench. My neck veins. I'd be so vascular.
I love the tweets, by the way, after they signed him. Like, oh, okay, so Russ will compete with Kenny Pickett for the court. What? Compete? He is the starter.
He's the starter.
He's not competing with Kenny Pickett.
You know, and you got talented folks in the wide receiver room.
Yeah.
You got Pickens who might start to actually play because
you got the two backs.
Right. You got some if you do some offensive line work there, their defense is still tremendous.
TJ Watt comes back healthy. Yeah.
Right.
No, I'm not
I
saying
think
there's
at
not
plus
value.
950. Listen, at plus 950, you're looking at nearly the same as the New York Giants to win their division. And I know it's apples
Crazy.
to oranges there because
different
teams in those divisions. But still, are you telling me that they're plus 950?
I can't listen. I agree with you. There's some value there. For me, I would look at Cincy first. Honestly, the only team I wouldn't bet here is Baltimore. I think that 115 is inflated.
Yeah.
The Derrick Henry signing and the way they looked last year. Guys, when it comes to gambling, like just being contrarian, like forcing yourself to be contrarian is a big part of it. You just have to look at different ways. You have to look at things differently. So you can't just be like, oh, the Ravens are just so good. They're just going to do it again. Like you have to be contrarian.
I don't know if you guys know this. It's going to be unpopular.
Yeah.
Derrick Henry is Gus Edwards now. I don't know if you...
He's kind of approaching wash territory. Not fully yet, but that's what happens to running backs. They get into their 30s and it's a wrap.
He's in his 30s. Is he? Yeah. You tell me. Is he any different on the field at this point in his career than Gus Edwards?
I guess we'll see. He does have a much better offensive line now, so I guess we'll see. We'll see what happens.
He's Gus Edwards, guys, and I just want to let you guys know the odds of the Steelers winning. The implied win percentage of this bet is 9%. You're saying that you're giving the Steelers only a 9% chance of winning that division. I think it's at least.
No, listen, I think they're going to compete for a playoff spot. So just that alone means they're going to have enough wins to probably compete for the division.
Yeah.
So, all right, so I would go Bengals first and maybe consider a sprinkle on the Steelers, but you would go. So your pick would be Steelers with the value.
Yeah,
like it.
You want to dunk bet it?
Cool.
Come on.
That's a plus 165 to a 950. It's a wild dunk bet.
You're right. Okay.
All right, cool.
I just really want to get a dunk bet in. Okay, so my way too early divisional futures are, I'm going to go just bottoms up.
Okay.
The 49ers, the Jets, Kansas City Chiefs, the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Jacksonville Jaguars, that feels icky, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Philadelphia Eagles, and the Green Bay Packers.
Cool. All right, so I got Chiefs, I got Packers, I got Texans plus 150, Niners, Eagles plus 130. I'm going with the Falcons minus 120 since I have to make a pick. Bengals plus 165, Jets plus 290. Let's go. All right.
And
man,
I just
that was a lot.
them all together.
Free agency, man.
Yeah.
It's so hard to keep up with all this crap. One thing before we get to UFC, I did want to just quickly go over was a little NBA thing I was thinking about the other day. We'll dive more into NBA as the playoffs come around, and I can't wait because like right now we don't have Selection Sundays this Sunday, right?
Mm-hmm.
And next week we'll come to you guys with brackets and we'll have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And then after that, we're gonna start thinking about the NBA playoffs. And once the series gets set, it's gonna be a lot of fun because we can talk matchups, and all the seeding and stuff. So that'll be great. But I was digging into Boston the other day, and I wanted to pose the question to you about the Celtics. And I know you haven't watched a ton of NBA this year, and I've watched a lot of NBA, but I haven't watched a ton of the Celtics because we don't bet on them much because they're always such huge favorites.
Yeah.
So I don't bet on them a lot. But right now, one thing that caught my eye, they're minus 110 to win the East, which is kind of crazy. Like you rarely see a team in the minus. and they're plus 230 to win the finals, which is a very small number. They're 51-14. They're 10 games ahead in the East of the second place team, which is Milwaukee. And the question that comes to mind is this finally their year, right? Like 2 years ago, they get to the finals, they lose, they win the first game, they steal it in Golden State, they end up losing in 6 games. Next year, they don't make it. They lose that catastrophic, right? They try to come back 3-0 against the Heat. They force Game 7. They lose Game 7 at home in catastrophic fashion.
Yeah.
Is this finally the year? They're so stacked on both sides of the ball. So for me, I got to look at them. This might be a piece. Maybe we'll make a piece of content around this to kind of give out a pick on whether or not I think they're going to succeed in the playoffs. But Boston is one of those teams where you're just like, is this finally their year? They've been knocking at the door every year since they've had this duo.
I mean, I think so. And then I think if you look across the board, people, I don't know if people are going to agree with this, but I think the East is probably at its weakest that it's been in the last couple of seasons, right? Like 76ers, not the same powerhouse that they were in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
The Bucks, good record, incredible turnover in coaching staff.
Yeah.
Dame, who knows how that's going to, pick up in the playoffs. And then you're looking at like Cavs, number 2 seed. You're looking at Knicks, Magic. Then, in the play-in, you're looking at Heat, Pacers, Bulls, Hawks.
Yeah.
Are any of those teams really a threat unless you have another Cinderella run from the Heat?
Yeah.
Who's beating them, Jeff?
To me, this is
who's taking them out?
There's 4 teams I think can win the East, and it's the top 4 teams right now. Like Philly without Embiid is just not good enough, and the Magic I think are too young. I like Banchero a lot, but they're too young. And the Knicks got to get help. Listen, the Knicks are very dangerous if they're healthy, because when they've got all those guys on the floor, they can beat anybody. The Bucks when they get hot, put up 150 points on anybody, but they give up so many points on defense. It is crazy. So the Cavs are actually the second best defensive team in the East after Boston. So per the math, they would actually be the biggest threat to them. But they're having issues too. Mitchell's out, Mobley's out. All they've really got, right, they're being carried by Jared Allen and Darius Garland and Max Strus with that half-court shot that killed us the other last
Can we get the clip? Max Strus.
He's gonna forever. I gotta frame a picture of him and put it up here somewhere.
Yes, actually, we need that.
But yeah, I mean, to me, like when I dug into it, there was a couple of red flag metrics that came up. So first thing is that's just like, again, what we just talked about with the Ravens. What I talked about last season with the Braves that I ended up being right about that one. I was wrong about Baltimore, but right about the Braves. Is like when I see a team go just mopping everybody in the regular season, they usually at some point hit a wall. It's hard to do that for the entire year all the way till you get a trophy. Yeah. Like it's really hard. So the Braves got knocked out by the Phillies in the first round. I'm not saying the Celtics are going to be a first round. Like, definitely not. But they haven't hit regression yet is the biggest red flag to me. Yeah. It's like I want to see that you fight through some adversity. Right. And then another thing is that KP, Kristaps Porzingis, hasn't been able to stay healthy
his whole career.
Like, I mean, we know this, but other people may not. Like,
as Knicks fan,
I mean, he's played a bit this year. It's not like he hasn't played at all, but it's like every few weeks, it's some kind of nagging injury, and you can't have that in the playoffs. You got to play every game. Yeah. And when he's off the floor, their net rating drops. So that to me is a concern because he spaces the floor. He brings the other team's bigs outside because he can shoot the three. Right. So that to me is a concern. They also, I was surprised they give up the most wide open threes in the East. Like in terms of wide open 3 rate, which that's defined, by the way, as 6 feet of space or more between the shooter and the defender.
Thank you, Professor.
So those 6, that's a lot of space. They give up the most of those out of any team in the East, but teams are not making them all season long. 29% on those wide open threes against the Celtics. So they're kind of like catching breaks a little bit.
It's because they're doing this thing.
Yeah, just by staying back. So they also rely a lot on isolation, right? They're 21st in assist percentage, so lots of iso ball. Teams that have good on-ball defense. This was the first thing I thought of when I saw the isolation statistics was, all right, if they do get out the East, which honestly they have no reason not to, they should. Like if we just answer the question black and white, yes, this should be their year. But if they get to the finals and if it's Denver again, that's awful for them because Denver has great on-ball defenders. Aaron Gordon's either 1 or 2 in the league on ball defense one-on-one. It's either him or Herb Jones from the Pelicans. So it's like Aaron Gordon can step in front of Tatum, Brown or Porzingis. He can guard all three of them,
Right.
because of his unique size, speed, strength.
Yep.
So they got to. Denver would be an awful matchup for them. They want to get, if they get somebody like if the Thunder or the Timberwolves can maybe break through, even though they also have Anthony Edwards is really good on the ball too, defending. But if they can get a team like a younger team like that, I think that could be their ticket to a championship. I think if they get the Nuggets, it's going to be like another brutal loss.
Yeah.
The Nuggets will repeat.
Or the Clippers, who are
I
totally
don't like the Clippers.
totally pooping your cereal. I know. I know. No,
like the
I
Clippers.
agree. I think the Celtics. I don't see a world outside of some upset where the Celtics, like, they'll get over the hump in the first round. Like,
Right.
maybe the Heat will get the play in, and you'll see another Heat Celtics.
I don't think the Heat will pull
rematch?
it off again, though.
I don't think they pull it off again.
The Heat are just something's. I don't know. Even with the Rozier trade, it doesn't seem like it's working.
Yeah.
For them. But would you bet them though -110 to win the East, or do you think you're going to snipe some value elsewhere?
I mean, again, like I always say, it's only value if it wins.
True.
Any other time, it just looked good and you lost money. So
True.
If I had to put a futures bet, I don't think there's a whole lot of value for me to do a futures bet.
Yeah.
On the Eastern Conference right now. But if I had to, I would pick the Celtics.
Yeah.
Right now. I would
Celtics
go-
-110.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would go. Just real quick, I would sprinkle. All right, I don't know how the Sixers are +1,000 if Joel Embiid's not coming back. They should be way below the list. I would sprinkle the Bucks are +290. I would take a shot there, and I would take a shot at the Knicks at +1100. This
I would
podcast
love
sounds
to be
so
wrong.
homerish,
I would
but
love to be. Yeah.
it's
Lock
n-
and Cash, New York Knicks Jets
it is.
podcast.
It's because if they just get healthy, if they get Randall back with Anunoby and Brunson, I mean, they look so good when OG Anunoby plays.
Yeah.
So I think there's some value there. They're +1100. I'm going to sprinkle them as well. So we'll see if the Celtics can pull it off. All right, UFC Fight Night this weekend.
Okay,
Let's
UFC
go.
Fight Night is not gonna be that spectacular this weekend.
It's
but
not a great card.
we do have a couple of picks that we're really excited about. I'm only gonna give one because I'm looking at the time here.
Let's
the rest
do
of
it.
the other one will be on the card. It's actually gonna be a nice dog play for you folks that love the dogs. But this fight night is being headlined Tai Tuivasa #9, I believe, against Marcin Tybura. Tai Tuivasa is -112 on the money line. Marcin Tybura is -110. So we got to pick them here.
Pick 'em.
In this matchup, I will give you a breakdown of who you are looking at. You may know Tai Tuivasa. He is
Yep.
an animal brawler, huge power in both hands, knocked a lot of people out on a little bit of a skid right now. He's been fighting the top half of the division, taking some losses, I think some bad matchups. And then Marcin Tybura also coming off a loss. He's more of a grappler, grinder, puts you up against the fence. Not great power in either hands. Gotten some knockouts before, but mostly he's looking to grind you, looking to grapple, dirty boxing, make this fight as ugly as possible. There is a key here, though, and I'm going to keep it brief. Tai Tuivasa is going to knock out Marcin Tybura this weekend. And how do I know that? Because I've seen Marcin Tybura fight many Tai Tuivasas before. And what Marcin does, if he can get you against the cage and he can push you up there and start grappling, he has a lot of success. What I don't see Marcin do, I do not see him wade into the fire against big punchers. He gets people on the fence who are also grapplers or who don't have a ton of power in their hands. Let's go in. I'll just go over some old Marcin Tybura fights here, right? So we got Marcin went up against Tom Aspinall, huge puncher. Sort of that fight ended before it started, so we'll skip that. We talk about Blagoy Ivanov, fan favorite. I'm sure everybody knows Blagoy Ivanov here. Big grappler, right? Not a ton of power in his hands. Marcin Tybura gets the edge there. Alexander Romanov,
Yeah.
grapple only. Marcin was able to nullify a lot of that, beat Romanov. You look against Jairzinho Rosenstrike, Volkov, these are not good matchups for him, right? Not good matchups there. I don't know. My memory is fading on that Jairzinho fight. Did he win that fight? Let's take a look.
Tybura Rosenstrike. Let's see.
Canceled.
Ah, that's why you don't remember.
That's why I don't remember.
You're sharp, man.
So, how I see this fight going, you know what? I'm going to draw a picture while I describe it to you. So, here we go, guys. Come on. I'll show you. I'll show you.
You gotta hold it up.
Yeah, we're going to start the fight, center of the ring, right? Marcin Tybura he knows that he either needs to crash in and get Tai Tuivasa against the fence and start working his grappling, his dirty boxing, or he's going to sit back and he's going to look for an entry. I think he's going to sit back and look for an entry. I think Tai is going to hit him with something on the guard that really makes him uncomfortable. He's going to start moving back to the edge of the cage. Tai is going to land something, finish this fight against the cage. So in this, I'm going to do a little.
Look at this.
Here we go. This is just
the new hardware.
Yeah. All right.
That's what that is.
Well, I don't know if I am actually because it's like, there we go. There we go. Come on. There we go. Okay. All right, guys. So we're going to have him up against the fence. It's going to start like this. This is Marcin. You guys see this? That's Marcin right there. This is Tai Tuivasa right there.
Nice.
It's going to end up against the cage right here. And that's where the fight's going to get finished. Okay? That's where the fight's going to get
finished.
This
is a very specific prediction.
Yeah. I'm looking at a first round knockout.
First round.
Marcin's on his back foot. He's looking for an entry. He doesn't find it because Tai Tuivasa is so aggressive.
Yeah.
And he's going to get finished up against the cage. Maybe standing knockout. I don't think, we'll call it a standing knockout.
So we're going with
$1 million.
We're going to see a shoey then on Saturday.
We're going to see a shoey on Saturday.
Cool.
If you look at the other side of this fight, if it goes the other way,
yeah,
Tai Tuivasa is a little bit tentative because he's dropped a few in the row. He tries to play it a little bit smarter. He ends up getting taken down. That's where I see Tybura has some success. But I think there's so much value on Tai this weekend. And I know.
And just a pick, too.
Yeah. It's just a pick 'em. Tybura has been wildly unsuccessful against big punchers in his career. Tends to freeze up in those matchups. I think we're going to get a Tai Tuivasa knockout. So I'll go with the money line. I'm going to take a look at the knockout. If there's good value on the knockout, like plus 200,
right,
plus 180, I'll probably take that too.
Yeah, these big boys usually don't make it to the cards.
No.
Someone's going down.
Yeah, the under 1.5 is going to be like
minus 300.
Yeah. So.
Dope. All right. So Tai Tuivasa minus 110. Pick them. I like that one. All right, cool. And you said you don't love the card, but we'll have some other stuff on.
We will
on Saturday. Dope. All right. So that was this week's show, guys. We covered the NFL, covered the NBA, college hoops. We didn't get to right now. The games are actually going on as we're recording, so we don't know what games are going to be set for Saturday.
Right.
Once the brackets are set, we'll come back and talk. We might have to actually do a show earlier in the week. Next week
to cover the bracket.
Yeah, just to do maybe we'll record on a different day.
Let's do it
so that we can go over the brackets. Dope.
Also, this Saturday.
Yeah.
No, we're not. We're not going to do it this Saturday.
One
of these Saturdays, we're going to do some live UFC.
Oh yeah,
streams.
Maybe for 300. UFC 300. We'll do it. We'll have more info coming on that. We'll do a live stream and have some fun with you guys. So, all right, cool. Good luck with this weekend with your bets, guys. Thanks for watching as always. Peace out.
Later.